Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Wednesday, February 10th, second cup of coffee, second attempt at the podcast today. Didn't like the first one. Let's talk about this. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you why I spent 28 minutes doing a podcast a little while ago, and then I just scrapped it, and now I'm doing it again. Now, in the past, we used to do the podcast once a week, and I wanted it to be perfect, and I would always just try my best to kind of just make sure I don't say anything stupid, or anytime I kind of hesitated, or if I say or if I catch myself umming, I say all the time anyway, but if I do it too much and it bothers me, I would just reset it and start it again. Now that we're on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have to have less of a filter. So I just kind of just try to talk, and whatever comes out, comes out. And if it's something that I don't like, usually I'm just going to have to go with it. I'm going to have less of a filter on the things that I put out. But I was listening to the podcast back today, and in particular, there was something in particular that I discussed, and we'll get to that in a second, that I don't want to discuss. And the reason is this, and I was thinking about this. This is what went through my head as I decided to recut the podcast today. As a coach, as an athlete, as someone who talks to you guys on a podcast, I have a responsibility to my listeners, to my athletes, the athletes that I coach, etc. And I remember taking a coaching clinic, and I remember one of the guys say, "Hey," and this is specifically, it was a broader lesson, but a specific story. The specific story was, in our sport, it is a requirement to wear a helmet. You have to wear the helmet on the bike at all times. Not so much on the swim or on the run, but on the bike, you have to wear the helmet at all times. Like, you can't get on the bike in the practice area. You need to put the helmet on immediately. All right. I get out of the tent before I even get to my bike, and my helmet is already buckled and on. And his point was, as a coach, you need to set that example, that you need to wear a helmet all the time. You need to train with the helmet. Granted, I don't train with the helmet when I'm indoors. That's a little silly. But you need to set that example. He's like, I wouldn't ride my bike 10 feet without putting on my helmet. And, I thought about it a while, and I said, what, maybe that makes sense. As a coach, as someone who's trying to train people in the sport, it seems to make a lot of sense. And I'm not even like, when I was a kid, I never wore the helmet when I was riding. When they passed all the helmet laws, I was like, really? Like, come on, it's one of those that we're just way too, that whole, hey, we survived it. The new generation can't even survive without helmets kind of thing. I kind of ascribe to that a little. I've been like that in the past. So to kind of accept this new thought and this new sort of way of thinking as a coach, not necessarily new to me, but I get it. I get it. I want to set the example. I do it. Even my avatar on Zwift, I make sure he has a helmet on all the time. That wasn't the case when Zwift started, before I was a coach. But now that I am, my avatar will always have a helmet. He won't ever, even that little like soft old man hat, he won't have that. They have the headband or whatever. No, my avatar will always have a helmet. For that reason, just because of that one conversation that guy had with me. Set the example and set it straight. Now, on the last podcast that I just recorded, I talked about something on social media that bothered me. And I got to tell you, I have a thought on social media, and I love our Facebook discussion group. I really do. The conversation is 98% positive, good people just chatting with each other and sharing our accomplishments or our troubles and trying to support one another. And it's a wonderful place to be. Ordinary Marathoners Facebook page, discussion group. Wonderful place to be. Then you escape out and you go to somewhere like Twitter, where it's a little bit more open. And I got to tell you, I've been on Twitter less and less. And the reason is I can't escape annoying conversations. I can't escape negativity. There's nowhere, it's always in my face. It's always in my face. I try to avoid politics wherever I can, and I just can't escape it. I can't escape. I run a running channel. I talk 98% of the things I talk about is running related, or cycling related, or whatever it may be. I don't know how this stuff gets on my feed. It always does, and it always brings me down because I always see these negative. I don't know what it is, but it's like people have a they almost like they have a license to be foolish on the internet, because you're sitting in your basement, you're on your computer, but you have no, you're not in front of anyone, or you don't have to make a point. You can sit there and think about whatever you want to do, and type whatever you want and do whatever you want. And I was very critical about something that happened to me last week. And I went off the rails a little bit, which is probably entertaining in a way, but it's not the kind of example that I want to set. Sometimes I think that people who talk like that on the internet, behind, or do things on the internet that are negative or try to hurt people, it goes too far. And it's a self-reflection too. It's a reflection of your own insecurities and things like that. And I almost feel bad sometimes for people who have to say things. And I got to tell you, I'm no angel myself sometimes. But we allow this social media thing to kind of, it goes a little too far at times. And sometimes I don't get it. That being said, on Monday, I had some great feedback from Monday's show. We talked about training. We talked about the Super Bowl. You guys kind of liked that I didn't just talk about training and went to something else and kind of got off topic a little bit. And it's been a long time since I did that. We used to, I always say we used to talk about Game of Thrones all the time, and that was fun. There were fun conversations. We've gotten away from that in recent months, and now we're going to kind of go towards that again. So be ready for those changes. And if it's something that you don't like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying my best here. It's impossible to please everybody. But I'm trying my best. And like I said, I'm going to try to set the example more, than I am going to try to make petty arguments or call people out. I'm just not going to do that. That's the example that I want to set. So restraint. Restraint is the name of the game. It's why I'm drinking my second cup of coffee and doing this podcast for a second time. Wednesday night. Let's talk about Wednesday. Wednesday night is the USA Triathlon ride on Zwift, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Every fifth week, I get to lead this ride. So I've put a good one together, and I'm really excited about it. We looked this morning, and there's not a lot of people signed up, but typically they always kind of sign up at the end anyway. Someone pointed out to me that the ride is, when you look at the profile of the ride, it looks kind of flat and gray and boring, but it's really not. The reason why it is flat and gray and boring is because there's intervals in there that are going to allow you to give as much effort as you want to push forward. So if you feel like being aggressive, if you feel like you're on the top of your game, you can give as much effort as you want. If you feel like it's a rest day, or it's some kind of recovery issue, or you're banged up a little bit and you want to kind of just, tone it down a little bit. If you want to skip some intervals, that's fine too. You can skip. You should not be intimidated by this workout. You should be thinking aggressively about this workout. It is one that you can really go after. It's one that you can really make personal decisions on when you want to give a lot of effort, and there could be some fruit at the end of it too, in terms of critical power and the records that you have in Zwift. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys join me if you're on Zwift. We've got a lot of new people, by the way, on the team, buying smart trainers and trainers to get on Zwift. I know Nick Doe. I saw you this morning, man. I saw it. You're on it. You're on the Zwift. I followed you today. Good to see you out there, buddy. I know Scott Frassard's got a trainer on the way. My friend Joe has got one on the way. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. And I think, by the end of the month, we're going to have a lot of people out there doing our rides together, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's just growing and growing, and it's awesome to see. Now, let's talk about working out and training for the last couple of days. We talked to you guys on Monday. I shoveled the driveway, not on Strava. Stu Wiener put the driveway shoveling on Strava. I think it belongs. I think it's strength training. I give you strength training for the shovel in the driveway, Stu. 100%. I wish I would have thought about that before I went out there. I would have put it on Strava myself. But I did tweak my back a little bit. It's been kind of annoying. It's still there a little bit. It's kind of getting better and better, like every day, just a tiny, tiny bit. It's one of those things where as long as I stay on plane, I'm good. If I start to kind of twist, watch me twist in my chair, right? So it hurts. But if I start twisting around, it starts to hurt a little bit, like just a little. It's not a vicious pain. It's like a hello, like we're still sore back here. It's just, my sense is it's going to go away. But you always got to be careful with the back and make sure that if it starts hurting a little bit more, that you take a little rest, take a little break, and hopefully it gets better. I think I'm on the mend though, for sure. I'm pretty sure I'm on the mend. But I did kind of, I took the rest of Monday off. I thought about running on Monday night, and I think just better senses prevailed, and I just didn't run because I just wanted to make sure that the back was good. And I'm glad that happened. It's always good to take a recovery day here and there too. And I hadn't taken one in a week, so I was good. Even though I wasn't really recovery day because snow shoveling counts. Moving on. Tuesday morning, 5 a.m., I rode with Todd Seiden. We did it was called Explosive Power into Zone 4. It was a workout, a 1 hour workout, 55 minutes, something like that. That was the one that I talked to you guys on Monday about. That was super, I wouldn't say intimidating, but I knew it was going to be challenging. I was trying not to be fearful or intimidated by it, and I kind of went at it aggressively. I felt good. Even waking up in the morning, I knew it was going to be a challenge, and I said, let's just go at it, and let's just see how it is. Not knowing how I was going to fare. And let me tell you, I finished it. And I finished it in good shape. I finished it. I was very proud that I was able to kind of get through it without turning anything down. I felt accomplished. And, it's just one of those things. Training works. We keep saying it. Training works. The more you keep working at it, this similar workout had I done 3 months ago. I had done similar workouts 3 months ago at less intensity, less resistance, and either quit or had to turn it down and make it easier for myself. And now I got it done. Look, it wasn't simple, it wasn't easy, but I got it done without having to worry about it. So I do feel accomplished from Tuesday morning. I took a little bit of a break, a 5-minute break, and then went to the 6 o'clock ride. It's set up for an hour. I was the only one there, and that hasn't happened lately. Lately, we've been pretty much getting a decent crowd on the 6 a.m. rides. Decent crowd for the morning, like 4 or 5 people. That's a decent crowd. So I was a little bit like, no one showed up. Like it's just me. And typically in the past, I would bag it at that point. I would just say, no one's here. I'm not riding with anybody. I don't have that, accountability factor. So I'm just going to bail. And I'm kind of proud of myself for not doing that this time. I stayed on the bike for about a half an hour. And again, coming out of that strenuous workout, I started very light. I started very easy. It was really just going to be the way I initially thought of it was just an extended cool down phase. And I was going to go after it for like a half an hour. I just, I didn't want to just turn the bike off at that point. I wanted to do something. So I said a half an hour, we'll go at it at even just extended cool down is fine. And I found myself like 10, 15 minutes into the ride feeling like, hey, I felt recovered again. And go figure, because I did a really, really hard workout at 5 a.m. And then, it stopped at 5:55. I took a 5-minute break for the next ride, got back on. I rode easy for about 10, 15 minutes, and then I was ready to go again. Almost, not fully recovered, but recovered. And I tell you what, that's a great, great, great Ironman training, because that's what happens in Ironman all the time is you go up a hill or you give a little too much effort in a certain area. And the next thing you know, you find yourself run down. But what are you going to do? You're going to just stop and get off the bike. You can't go to the shower. You can't go make breakfast. You got to keep finishing. So you got to stay on the bike and keep going. So that's why I think it's good. It's good practice for Ironman. Wear yourself down, finish that workout, and then extended cool down, and then see if you got a little bit more. See if you learn your body. You learn like, hey, if I just take some recovery time in the middle, maybe it just takes me 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden I got some energy back. I know sometimes when I run, that happens too. Sometimes when I run, if I could feel like I want to give up, and then I walk, and then after walking a little while, I feel good again and I can run. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes with running, I don't. Sometimes I run so much and so hard, and then I stop, and then I walk, and I feel like I should be improving, and I just don't. I just kind of continue to go down. But in cycling so far, that hasn't really happened to me. I ride hard, I recover, and I can ride hard again. So I do like that. I like that portion of training, and I'm super glad that I didn't get off the bike. Even though it was only an extra half an hour, I'm glad I didn't get off the bike. I'm glad. Really a productive morning for me. That's the way I'm looking at it. Productive morning for me. I did not do anything else yesterday. That was it. My morning ride was it. I ate well. I'm down to 242 and change this morning. So on track for where I want to be. I feel pretty good about that, actually. And I didn't want to do a workout last night, primarily because, well, it wasn't on the schedule, number one. But number two, we have tonight's workout. So I ran this morning, and we have tonight's ride. We have a workout Thursday morning. We have our Thursday night trivia ride, and a big weekend ahead. So I knew that I had a lot of work to go, and I just, it was good to kind of just do the morning workout yesterday and move on with the day. This morning, got up at 5 a.m. and I ran. I was supposed to run with Ron. Ron, a little bit late today, but he's out there getting it done. And doing these run workouts, I tell you, these run workouts in the morning, on Wednesday morning that we've been doing, they're not very strenuous. They're not, I do get good mileage in. It's like I do 45 minutes this morning and got like 3.5 to 4 miles in, somewhere between there. It's not a ton of miles in that time, but there are good intervals in there. There's some good push. There's some good, moments where you get your heart rate going. I never feel like I'm at the end, like I'm about to quit when I finish these intervals. That's the one thing I'll say about these workouts is I'm not intimidated getting on the treadmill to attack these workouts. But I'm sort of gracious for that. I'm grateful, not gracious, grateful for that. I'm grateful for that because on Wednesday mornings at 5 a.m., if I get up, and normally I do, but if I get up, but I have been missing. If I miss during the week, it's going to be the run. It's going to be on Wednesday. Talk about that in a minute. But when I roll out of bed for the ride, I usually have to give myself at least 20 minutes, if not 25 minutes, to kind of get up, get ready, get the bike shorts on, get the live stream going, make sure I have a couple bottles of water, towel over the thing, the microphone's got to work, all this I got to process, right? There's a process to get ready for the ride. It takes me 20, 25 minutes. For the run, roll out of bed, I'm already wearing shorts, throw on some socks, put on my sneakers with the run pod, turn on the computer, turn on the treadmill, I'm off and going. Less than 10 minutes. This morning, I barely made it on time. And the reason I barely made it was because Zwift was like just really slow loading. It's been like that lately. I don't know why. Just so you guys know, if you're going to tonight's ride, make sure you get on a little bit early because Zwift has been very slow with the upload speeds lately. Anyway, so I don't mind necessarily that the workouts, they do have some strenuous parts, but they're not over. I'm not intimidated by them. I'm not intimidated by them at all. So I got the run done this morning. It was 45 minutes, like I said, and I feel good. I feel good that I accomplished it. And when we get the ride done tonight, that'll be strenuous workout tomorrow morning. That's the other workout that I said. I said on Monday that Tuesday and Thursday's rides were going to be hard. So Thursday morning ride, 5 a.m. is going to be tough. And then the trivia ride at night, which is pretty much a nice, easy ride. And then we head on to Friday and the weekend. I will not be getting up early on Friday. I'll be sleeping in. That'll be nice. But we'll talk about the weekend on Friday. We'll talk about what we're going to be doing. Other than that, I touched on sleep. And it's something that, we've kind of, the early morning workouts have been a very sort of fluid situation for us, We started the early morning workouts back in August, September. And I think they were kind of necessary. It was necessary for me to kind of kick into gear. I wasn't in gear. I wasn't being very consistent with my workouts. So by doing a 5 a.m. every single day, it was getting me in gear. It was forcing me to work. And for the first month or two, I didn't miss a day. And then over time, all of a sudden, it's like, I'm missing once a week. I'm missing twice a week. I'm missing here and there. I don't know. And I'm sure it was heading downhill because when you miss days and they're not planned days, you're planning to do a workout and then you miss the day. Like you got to figure out where am I going to squeeze that workout in? Am I still going to do it? Am I going to do another day? Do I have to move things around? And it just throws everything into flux. And I think we recognize that at the right time. And for me, combination of things. I don't know. It probably was a little bit of just the hassle of getting up in the morning that early all the time. And then some days you sleep later on the weekend. You're like, wow, this is wonderful. Why am I doing this to myself during the week every day? Maybe there's a little bit of that, not wanting to get up. I think for me though, the other end was, My daughter, when she was, back 3 or 4 months ago, she was going to bed at 7:30 every night. She would nap at noon, from noon to 2. She'd be up, we'd eat dinner, and then we'd put her to bed 7:30 latest, right? So I had time between 7:30 and say 9:30, 10 o'clock when I went to bed to get some things done, get those things done, and move along, go to bed early, get up with the proper amount of sleep. Lately, her sleep patterns have changed. And now she won't go to bed at 12 in the afternoon. She'll go to bed probably for a nap at 1:30. And she doesn't just nap for 2 hours now too. She naps for 3 hours. She'll get up 4:30, 5 o'clock some days. Now you take a 2-year-old that wakes up at 5 o'clock and try to put her back in bed at 7:30. It just doesn't happen. So her bedtime now is 8:30, 9 o'clock. And it's just kind of by the way that she's acting and react and you try to set the sleep schedules. It's not easy. So there's a certain amount of forcing the sleep schedule and kind of just go by the vibe that she gives and the and the time that you have. Now, if we were on a clock and we really needed to have her sleep, we probably would force it a little bit more. But because we're not, we're a little bit, she's 2. Let's let her have her natural sleep cycles, whatever they may be. So now she goes to bed at 9 o'clock. So she goes to bed at 9 o'clock last night. Now I have things I need to do, right? So now we have projects that we're working on. We have things, I was up till probably about 10 o'clock, 10:30 last night, which isn't that late. It means I only had an hour or two to get stuff done, as opposed to before I had some more time. And then I'm going to bed at 11 o'clock. Now, if I'm going to bed at 11, 12 o'clock at night, 5 days a week, there is no way I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning every single day. So as things change, you got to it's like I said, fluid situation. You have to make adjustments. You have to figure out what you can do. And I tell you what, moving the rides from 5 rides a week at 5 a.m. to 2 rides and 1 run in the week has been really good for me. It's been a real positive change in the schedule. I no longer feel like the pressure. The way I put it the other day when I think I was riding and I mentioned this, I no longer look at the 5 a.m. ride as a chore, but I look at it as an opportunity. I look at it as, look, I set this up. It's on my schedule. It's the way I need to do it. I only get up for 2 rides a week. You can do that. I can try my best. Last night I didn't do such a great job, but I can try my best to go to bed early at least 2 nights a week. Now, I did leave the run out of that. And the reason being is I can kind of fit in the run at 6 o'clock if I have to. And I've been a little bit more, I would say less disciplined with making it on the run days. Although I made it today, than I am on the bike days. I really like going on the bike in the morning. The run, I tell you, rolling out of bed with 10 minutes to go with my 46-year-old body after working out, it takes a little while to get loose. And it's one thing to try to get loose for a little while on the treadmill after I've been up for 25 minutes, but rolling out of bed with 10 minutes left and trying to run on the treadmill, it's not good. Did I say treadmill before? I've been 25 minutes, then getting on the bike to ride it out, to warm up. That's one thing. Getting out of bed, 10 minutes left, and jumping on the treadmill. That's a different thing. It's a different kind of soreness. It takes a while for me to get ready. And they want me to do high knees and butt kicks and skips and stuff like that to kind of loosen up. Hey, I will kill myself on the treadmill if I skip on that treadmill at 5 a.m. I'm just trying to get my legs moving, I'm an old guy. Takes me a while. So it's easier, but overall what that means is it's harder to get up at 5 a.m. for the run, and it's easier to just stay in bed for a little while longer if I really, really wanted to. I think I'm better than a 50-50 on the morning run, but it's certainly, I look at it as if I'm going to miss, that's the one I'm going to miss. But the other 2 I definitely look at as opportunities. I like the morning run. Call me crazy. I don't know. But I like the morning ride. That's the second time I did that. I like the morning ride. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up for today. Thank all you guys for listening. Thank you all for the feedback, by the way. Really great feedback on the last show. Really great feedback. And hope to see a lot of you new guys on Zwift in the coming days. I know a lot of you guys with the new trainers coming in. Love to see it. If you want to be a patron of the show, go to patreon.com/ordinarymarathoner. Add yourself to the list. We'll put you on the scroll. It's coming up in about 10 seconds. And remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.